Yes.
And actually, I'd really like to have the AI companion start the summary because to me, that's better than trying to re-listen to something. So,
So if I'm looking like over here, it's just this is my other monitor. So if I'm writing something down, I am still listening to you.
yeah, no
Okay.
worries. So, Meredith or Sarah, anything before we move on and talk about process of the podcast and then go into the marketing aspects of reels and shorts and all that kind of stuff too? Okay.
I'll just say I'm super excited to jump in and work with you guys. So that's all I want to say. Now we can get into the nuts and bolts.
The 18th.
Awesome.
So right now, what we do is we have a marketing spreadsheet that, and Meredith and Sarah, we're pretty transparent, Jamie. So I'm big on like, if you don't think we should share, please let me know. But I think we should probably share the marketing spreadsheet with Jamie. And Jamie, it's got a whole lot of stuff on it, but there's going to be two columns that you're going to be interested in. One is kind of the theme for the month and the guests that we have. And I'm doing guests more real time. Like I've already done the March one, but now I'm looking for someone to do April because we went to an every other week or basically twice a month episode. Um, and so there will be 2 months, I think, out of the year that we might end up with three because if we do it every other week. But the point being is that having now 12 episodes with guests, it's not, we do have people still coming to us. So Meredith's working on kind of like a form for them to fill out. We used to have an application so that we can kind of vet them a little bit, but I'm trying to do more real time. Like I have not done the March episode yet, and I probably won't for a couple of weeks because the first episode is the guest. And because we got into a thing where we posted something last year and said, do you want to be a guest? And then we had like all these people like respond and we were recording stuff. Like I went through a month of recording like 1,800 episodes, it felt like. And then by the time they came out, it didn't feel as
Yeah.
relevant. People weren't sharing it just because out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
So it's more kind of real time, but it gives you a theme. Then I record the podcast. And typically what I have done in the past is if I've used AI to help create kind of the script that I'm using, I have sent that to Meredith so that she kind of has an idea of what's there as well. And so I can send that to you after I'm done recording if that's helpful for you.
Yeah, because I guess that would be like the equivalent of the transcript.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So
mean, it's slightly different. I use it.
and actually if you I can just download that from Zoom too, isn't there? So like then that way you don't even have to send anything to me. However, I'm getting it from Zoom. Let's just
Perfect.
take one step off your plate.
Can I jump in there right now? So Jamie, I'd super love to hear from you. We are experiencing some quality issues with the video that comes from Zoom.
Yeah.
It's just not high quality. And so then when you import it into Descript and try to use it to create anything from there, it just further degrades the quality. And we thought that maybe that was because Sarah was downloading the MP4 into the Google Drive, and then I was going to the Google Drive to upload it into Descript. But I've done that with some other Zoom recorded videos as well. And it really just seems to be the Zoom quality. So I investigated that. And it looks like Zoom actually degraded the quality of its video outputs for accounts that are not at like their premium level. And so in talking to a couple other people that I know that do a lot of like podcast work and stuff like that, they were moving their clients either over to Riverside, which I am familiar with. And then there was another one that is called Squadcast.
Yeah. That which is in Descript, which is linked with Descript.
Yeah. So I just don't know what your thoughts are on that, but
yeah. That's interesting that the Zoom thing is really just because I have one client who uses Zoom for her podcast and there's no issues. So
Mhm.
she must have the premium, like you said. My other clients have been using StreamYard. That's what Lachelle has been using. They
Mhm.
just like jacked up their price like $30 a month. And so now they're at $90 a month for that,
Mhm.
which is a lot. But the quality is excellent.
Yeah.
And Squadcast, that was when I learned. So when I started using Descript and I learned that Squadcast was directly linked, right? Like
Mhm.
that's like sounds like perfect, the perfect combination if that's what you're going to be using. So one client, like was a guest on someone using Squadcast and it went seamlessly. But then another client of mine tried using Squadcast and it was just a bunch of
Horrible.
issues like lagging,
Mm.
echoing, like
Mm.
it wasn't good. So
And here's what's interesting is I have a pro account. I mean, I have the one, I don't have the top, like there's the free, the pro, and the premium. And I have the pro, so I'm not certain. And I've used a camera before, a real high-end camera,
yeah,
and the Mac video, and it doesn't seem to make a difference. But maybe I look for that camera and try it again. Yeah, because I have a really good camera. I was having a hard time hooking it up to my Mac. It's a Razer camera.
uh-huh,
And honestly, what I'd really like to do today is get through the process of the podcast, and then we
sure,
can go back and discuss the video quality, Meredith, and decide if we're going to go with a different software.
Mhm.
Because it doesn't matter what I mean, it does matter, but it doesn't matter what software we're using. The process would still stay
yeah,
the same. So I'd like to get this process down,
okay,
if possible. But what I'm hearing you say too, Jamie, is that somebody had some problems with Squadcast, but Riverside, that might be what Joni uses too. It's my understanding that you have to have a huge capacity on your computer and a really good internet capability
yeah,
because of
Provider.
because you're using the software plus something else that like creates like a massive use of stuff. So we'll investigate into that further,
okay,
Meredith, because I know we want the reels and all of that stuff to look, hey, stop it. To look appropriate and be what we need. But you have
yeah,
a bazillion toys. Come on, no wires. Um, he's starting to show his puppyisms. So Meredith, if you're okay, I'd like to keep going on the process
Sure.
with this. So recording the podcast, you'll get the AI for right now, depending on what software we go with, we may have to shift that slightly, but you'll pull that off. So an action item is I need to add you to Zoom. And then I know Meredith, you and I were talking, do you still need access to my Zoom then?
I can just log in as you.
Well, I don't know if you can, because Sarah and I had tried that before. We can try it.
that's how
Um,
I get into Lachelle's too, to access all of her stuff as I sign in as her, so that,
oh, interesting.
um, but there's a way to just add me. I mean, that would be totally fine too.
Well, it might be better to have you sign in as me because let's try that.
Okay.
And then if we have problems, we'll add you because for some reason Sarah was having a hard time. There was something happening and it might have been the two-factor authentication or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, okay, so I just need to get
Yes,
you my Zoom sign
that's always that's always an issue, the two-factor authentication.
up.
There's
Exactly.
a reason for it, and
So,
also it makes you want to punch a wall sometimes.
so that's why. So one way to just circumvent that would be if you wanted to just copy the link, like share the video, Debbie, and just stick that in the spreadsheet or a designated place, and then like after you're done recording, and then it says your video is ready, and then just share that link with me somehow.
Well, I'd rather have you try to sign in as me. And the reason I say
Okay.
that is because if I share the link to the video, does it give you all the other stuff that you need? The AI and all that, or just the video?
Well, and because I used a script, it will also do the transcription, so I don't necessarily like have to download it. Like Yeah, actually, I don't need that because when I put the video in Descript, it automatically gives me the transcript. So
Okay, and Meredith was talking about too, that it would be better going forward doing and correct me if I'm wrong, Meredith, but not the gallery view, but where it pops up whoever's speaking, the speaking view.
oh,
So that when we go to do reels, it doesn't show like both people if I have a guest. Meredith,
Oh.
speak up about that.
Well, can I just say it's not actually an issue because in the program that I use, it'll be stacked. So I will purposely put you and your guest like one on top of the other, like either way. So it won't be like one or the other.
It'll be vertical instead of
It'll be
horizontal.
vertical.
I don't know
Yeah.
exactly what was happening, but every time we tried to use the stack feature, it actually just would do this.
And
So
I don't use Descript to do it. I use Opus Pro. So, and I can choose who I want where, what I want where, and put
Okay.
like logos and all that stuff on.
so in Descript, it takes people like it would
Yeah.
take like half of, I'm next to Debbie on my screen,
Yeah.
right? It would take like half of Debbie's face and half of my face and put us together with like blank space.
Yeah.
Like
And there is a
wouldn't
way to
happen.
change that, but we won't get into that right now. But I can show you how to do that sometime if you ever need to know.
Sure.
Okay, so as of right now, you would sign into Zoom, get all the information that you need. We'll add you to the marketing worksheet so you can kind of see the themes and because then I color code them green when they've been recorded and they're out there on the recordings. But I typically let Sarah know and Meredith that they're out there. So once that's done, then you're going to edit. So take us through the next steps of what you're going to do. Cause I know Jaime took two, I almost said programs, but
Yeah,
two
like
different
packages.
and
Yeah.
kind of merged them
Kind of
together
morphed.
for what I needed. So
Yeah.
kind of walk us through
Okay.
then what's next. And Meredith and Sarah, feel free to speak up because once we get it done, then Jaime, you're going to edit it, but we have this Lisbon thing. So we need to understand then what happens next.
Yeah. So I kind of like started listing out almost like a little checklist for myself here. So I'm going to download the video. I'm going to make the edits, add the intro, outro, and overlay. So like I'll need access to the intro and outro.
And then we have an ad in the middle, Jaime.
Yeah.
We also
okay.
do.
Sure.
And usually I've shared with Sarah, like not always, but I try to keep track of when the timing is when that happens,
Perfect.
to kind of give
Yeah.
her an idea. So,
Yep,
okay.
just let me know where you want that and I can put that in too. For the overlay, I think I haven't seen one on your, do you want me to just keep going through the list or do you want me to stop when there's?
What is an overlay?
So that's like at the bottom where it says, Lead Your Life podcast with Debbie Heiser or you and your guest names or like how Lachelle has it at the bottom. So all my
That'll be
clients.
new.
Yeah, I like that.
So, and then that way it doesn't just look like a Zoom recording. Like it looks like
Right.
something special. This is a podcast.
I'm your host, Dr. Lachelle Beanie.
Oh,
Meredith's looking at it.
Yeah.
Michelle?
I'm
I'm
like,
just trying to see how you designed her, because I'm assuming that we have to design the overlay.
well, I mean, I can come up with some like examples, or I can even send you the one. Like if you go to the middle of Lachelle's podcast right there, you'll see it at the bottom. It's very simple. Like I can send you like who's the designer person of the team.
That happens on our end.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
I didn't know. Okay, yeah. So
yeah, if I can just get the dimensions of what you need, then
absolutely.
then that way we send you something that's usable.
Yeah, totally.
But let me ask you a question, Meredith, because when it's just me, it might be the same overlay, but if we have different guests, is your team going to take on? Because part of this is like,
it doesn't have the guest information on the overlay. It's just branding you. It's not branding the guest.
Yeah, you don't.
So it doesn't ever change.
It's like your choice. You guys decide if you just want it to be the same one for everything, which is what Lachelle does. And then we put like guest bios and stuff in the show notes, but the overlay itself is usually just the same.
Okay. Perfect. So you're going to get the dimensions to Meredith. Meredith is going to create something within the brand and send back to you. And then once you edit it, put the intro, outro, the ad in the center, the overlay,
Yep.
where does it go?
Okay. So then I'm gonna, you said that you already have like templates for graphics done. So I'll go ahead and update
Let me
like the,
confirm.
Sorry, what do you mean by that?
oh, I'm sorry, like a post that you put on Facebook saying the episode is out,
Mhm,
like has the title, Debbie's
Mhm.
Yeah.
face,
mhm.
what episode it is,
Yep.
and then the YouTube thumbnail, which is the
Yep.
Yep.
I
link.
create that actually.
Oh.
That's yeah. That's one
Okay.
thing the marketing team doesn't do in the graphic, whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so
Um,
Sarah will continue to do that then. Is that correct?
Or do you want me to
Well-
send you that and you'll be tweaking it?
So here's the thing, when it comes to like the title of the episode, like I optimize that for SEO. So it's not like you can give me an idea of what you'd like the title to include, but when I put it through the system, it's gonna automatically tell me what people are searching for and what the keywords in
Welcome
the
to
title
Startup Podcast.
Mhm.
what should be. And then it also takes those keywords and integrates them into the show notes. But if you like feel strongly like, no, this is the title I want for an episode, then
No.
we can do that.
I mean, Jamie, some of this I'm not as familiar with, so bear with me here. So I would almost rather, like, if you're creating SEO optimization, like, what is it to create the template? Like Meredith and Sarah, I don't know enough about this because you guys do the back end. Like, is it the same template every time that we're using graphics unless it's a guest? And we're
Yeah.
throwing the
For the
guest in?
YouTube thumbnail, it's the same every single time for that season, right? Is the way that
That-
we've done it. So
Except
there's
that
people
each, yeah.
The title.
Sorry, go
though,
ahead.
The title of the episode should change.
I
though.
do, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
each
yeah.
week, each week I change the episode number and
Yeah.
the graphic itself, as far as the picture of Debbie
Yeah.
and like, lead your life with Debbie Heiser, that stays the same.
Yeah.
I just, once Meredith finishes the show notes, that's when we know what the title is going to be. So then
Yeah.
right before I schedule it in YouTube, I create the thumbnail for it and I change out the title and the episode number.
Yeah.
So let me ask
Everything else
this.
stays the same.
So Jamie, your fingers are already in all of this. If we already have the thumbnail for YouTube, and then we'll go back to the social templates here in a minute, can you just add the season and the episode number? And if you're coming up with the title, because I want the title, like a big
Yeah.
piece of what we're hiring you for is this SOE optimization. So I would rather just have you come up with the show note or like you tell me, I'm not talking show notes yet, but go ahead and put the episode
graphics.
number, season, episode number, and the title.
Yeah, I would say so. Part of what we've also decided is I'm going to give you some quote graphics as well. So if I'm already in there creating the graphics, Sarah, as long as you're okay with it, like it's super easy for me to just update those. Like update the thumbnail, update the post. If you have like one that goes to stories, like I don't know what you normally do when you announce that a new podcast episode is out, but I'll just update all of those with the titles so that they're ready to go. Create the quote graphics.
Mhm.
Is that okay?
So let's talk about that. Meredith and Sarah, what happens, like if Jamie takes on the putting the title, the episode number on YouTube is what we're talking about right now, right?
Yeah. Well, and you can use it for anything, but yeah, like the post one. So, okay. So for example,
Because
Lachelle
what I'd
has
like
an,
to understand is what our current process
I think
is.
it might
oh,
be
okay. Okay.
easier-
Go ahead. Sorry.
I think it might be easier to actually make a list of all of the assets and say, here are all of the elements that are produced every single time,
Yeah.
right? And then who is going to take ownership of creating that asset going forward, right? Like, because how we're doing it right now has been, I think Sarah and I agree, really clunky. And so what we're looking to do is to streamline the process and make it as simple as possible for everybody. Excuse me while I take off my jacket. So we have there's the YouTube graphic, right? And that has to change every single time. The background of it is already created. So I think it's easiest if you just make that. Um, because you're going to have the show title, you're going to know the episode number. Great. But what are all of the other elements that we need to work on, right? Because you're just using that same graphic regardless of where you're publishing the episode, right?
Well, okay, well, they're different sizes. I
Right.
mean,
But
if you don't want additional, if you only want me to do a YouTube thumbnail and then the quote ones,
I don't think that's what we're saying, Jamie. I think what we need to do is let's list out, like, so we're talking about, we have YouTube thumbnail, we have social templates.
mhm.
What else is there for graphics? Meredith and Sarah, like, what do you do today?
The only thing that I do on Canva is the thumbnail for YouTube.
Okay. Meredith, what else is there when you're saying we need to list out all these graphics?
well, I think we need to ask Jamie what she wants because I think she's leveling it up from what we have been doing. So instead of like looking at what we have, I want to hear from her, like, what should we have? And
Okay.
then,
Okay. Well, when you say social templates, let's specify what that means. So that means like a post size graphic. So
Can
like
you share what social media you're talking about, Jamie? Because I know they're different.
like
for Instagram.
any of them, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. So like the square size, when I say post, I mean square size. So that can go pretty much anywhere. Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn.
yep.
And those are all the same because they are the same size. So they are all just a square.
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's all one.
And we have two versions of that. We have one version that has a guest and one
Yes,
version
yep.
a solo episode.
And a solo episode. Perfect. Yep,
Yep.
that's exactly right. Okay. And then you have a story size, which is usually like a 9 by 16. So that's like the longer one. So it's the same information.
And story for what, Jamie? I'm sorry, because I don't
Like,
do this stuff.
no,
So
no,
I-
that's
Facebook
okay.
and Instagram.
Like your Facebook or Instagram stories.
Okay.
Yep. And we have that too.
Okay, perfect. So, and it's pretty much the same information as the square one, except in the rectangular form.
Okay.
Okay. And then we're gonna add in, so we have the YouTube, yep, and then we have all those, and we have the story, and then the last one is compelling quotes.
Have that yet.
And so for compelling quotes, we'd have, I'll create, I mean, I said I would do 3. We'll do like a square one, again, for you to share as a post wherever you would like. And then we'll also do one as a story.
And that's a quote from the episode that you just pulled.
Yeah, quotes from the episode, right? And my name is actually Jaime. Just,
I knew that. I'm sorry.
I know, it's okay.
I always get people spelling Sarah without an H, and I'm like, there's an H.
It would be weird if I let it go and told you next time. You'd be like,
Yeah, I'm sorry,
the whole
Jamie.
time.
Okay,
Okay,
so keep going.
So
What
those
else?
are all the graphics.
I'm
Okay.
going to add one more that I don't necessarily will think impact you as far as something you need to change, but it may be one you'll want to look at to see if we want to tweak it at all. And that's the cover art. We have new cover art for season 7 that is put in Libsyn.
Okay.
And so it's on each individual episode. If you just go to Debbie's podcast and the purple app on an Apple phone or wherever, it'll show that. So I don't, just as far as like if you're looking at everything we're doing and you want to up level it, I think it looks really good personally. Meredith just zhuzhed it up recently.
Yeah.
But
Oh
yeah,
no,
it's
I
that
thought
one
that
right
looks
there.
great. And I'm
Okay.
not a designer. That's not my expertise. I'm the systems organization spreadsheets. Like I'm gonna make our tighten everything that we're doing and make it
Mhm.
more efficient.
Okay.
Can I design stuff? Yes, but it's not my zone of genius. So
Okay.
okay. So
So
what else? Oh, sorry, I get excited.
No. So Jamie, I have your name here as far as the compelling quotes. Then who
Yes.
is doing the story for Facebook and Instagram, and then the square?
So I will just upload those with the title because I'm already in there doing the YouTube thumbnail. So the template that you have been using, we'll keep using, but then I'll just throw in the new title and episode number. Is that?
Yep, that's fine. And then we
I
schedule
mean,
the posts.
because then, I mean, with 3, we don't, yeah, I mean, we don't need a ton of people doing little eeny beeny things, right? Like updating a
Exactly.
title, like I'm already in there. It takes less than a minute. Like I'm in there. Just let me update them quick.
Yep.
And then you don't have to worry about it.
Yep. That's awesome.
So one question I have with sharing the thumbnail link with her is that was sent to us by Callie. So it's not technically in our it's not in my Canva. I just use the link that she emailed. Do you think she's going to have access to that if I forward that to her?
Or can we
Does that
get
make
it? We can download it somewhere else that we have
Which
it.
is it, Sarah?
Remember when Callie sent us all the assets that she created? She emailed them.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm creating the thumbnail, is from the assets that she gave us
And the thumbnail is the one that has Debbie in the blue chair and kind of the yellow gradient.
for YouTube.
Yeah.
So I'll just send it, Jamie. For some reason, if it doesn't work, let us know and we'll figure it
Yeah,
out.
we
But
can get it.
basically,
That's
we're a
no-
third party to a different gal that worked
I'm
with us
out.
with podcast stuff.
If we go out to that link, send me that link, Sarah, because is it in Canva?
I never do it in our Canva.
No, my point is when you get the link, does it take you to Canva?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So then Meredith, how do we take that out of her Canva and put it in ours? Just download it into ours? Like, how does that work? Export it?
Make a
If
copy.
you, yeah, you can just make a copy and save it.
Yeah, I think that's what we need to do. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So Jamie, here's what I'm going to do. Sarah, if you would send that link to Jamie, I'll add
Yep.
Jamie to Canva. And then Jamie, I think we have a file for podcasts because I made file folders, you know, to save everything in.
Perfect.
Then you save it wherever where you find it, so you know how to get to it quickly.
Okay, so you're going to add me as a team member on Canva.
Yep.
So then when I go in there, I'll have access to that folder.
Yep.
Okay, and then everything will be in the podcast folder. Okay, my Canva account is not my business name though, because it's a different email address. So let me give
So
that.
put it in the chat and I'll grab it.
Okay. Okay.
Yep. Awesome.
I'll get that sent to you today, Jamie.
Okay, sure. Sounds good.
Okay.
Okay, so all those graphics will be in the Google folder ready for you to go. Or I'm sorry, Google folder, Canva folder.
Yeah. So where are we
were
going to go to
tracking.
get, are we going to go to Canva to get all of the social graphics for each episode? Is that where you're going to be keeping them?
Yeah, I think that's probably better than uploading them to Google Drive
Because that's
because
just duplicating the work.
yeah, and it's taking up
Okay.
space. It's already in
Perfect.
stock. And what I was thinking was the quote graphics that I'm going to create are also going to have captions specifically for them, like for you to post on social with them. So what I was thinking was, you know how there's a notes section in Canva next to every slide?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you click the notes button, you know, the sidebar pops up. I can just put the caption there that goes with each slide so that it's easy for you to just copy paste.
Okay.
Or I can put it in the show notes, just wherever you think is going to be.
No, I
easiest.
think that's easier to just put it into the Canva
Okay.
in the notes of that particular one. And then I think
Okay.
what we'll do is typically there's been a post on the day that the podcast drops and then a
Yeah.
follow-up post on Fridays. And I think we're just going to swap out the follow-up post with the compelling quote post.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't think we want
Mhm.
to post 3 times a week about a single episode.
Yeah. And you can pick, like, you don't have to do all the quotes. I'll just find a few of them, pick a few of them, and then you can decide which one you want to do, which one you like best, right?
Sure.
Okay. So once Jamie does all the graphics, saves that in Canva, then
Mhm.
what happens is we do the initial post in social on Tuesday. And Meredith, is your team still doing that?
Yep. It's every other Tuesday.
Yeah. Sorry. Then we're doing a follow-up post. And it will be the compelling quotes instead of, so I think, Sarah, you were doing the, hey, did you catch this episode post?
Actually, that switched to the marketing team.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
And so Meredith will actually post that, but the compelling quotes will come from Jamie. Right? Okay. So what's next?
Okay, so that's all of those graphics. So then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to create the show notes. And where have you guys previously been doing this?
In Descript.
Oh, so you don't have like a Google Doc or anything that you keep your show notes in, like
Nope, we
separate
just,
from, okay.
nope, we just have a
So,
project and save them there.
so you upload the video, it transcribes the whole thing, and then where do you take that blurb that goes in the show notes? Because you don't take the entire transcript. So you save that
So
blurb.
I use Descript to create the show notes, and then I take the show notes and I edit them. So I don't take
Oh,
just the straight AI show notes,
gotcha.
but I take them and I edit them, but I just have edited them directly in Libsyn because we can always go in there to get them if we need to. So I
Okay.
didn't create a Google folder because that's just like another step. So I would just take them out of Descript, copy and paste them into Libsyn, edit them to where un-AI'd them, if you will. Um, and then we
You know, I
have
will
some
say it's really
templated things in
important
there.
that guest names, because it doesn't always
Mhm.
capture it, or the business name of somebody, that we just double check that, because we've had some situations where the Descript like didn't capture it
Yeah.
correctly. So we just need to double check that. Sorry, keep
Yeah.
going, Meredith.
Yep.
Yep.
And when you have a guest, like, do you include their bio and their links in your show notes? And do they fill out a form that has all of that? Or how do you get that info? Like, how am I going to get that info ahead of time so that?
It's kind of dependent on the guest. Some of them are great about giving you that information and some of them are not. So if we haven't had it, then we have Googled them, searched them on Instagram, found their websites. And then if they haven't given us any direction as to like what they want featured as far as like link backs to them, then we just have taken the stuff that we felt was the most compelling. So
Okay.
if like we had somebody lately that had an Instagram following of like less than 100 or something like that. So I don't think we featured her Instagram. I think we featured her website because she had a freebie on the website that was mentioned in the episode.
Okay. And Debbie, I know we talked about this when we met about having any potential guests fill out a form prior to booking their time slot with you for an interview. And that's something that maybe you guys can think about or talk about.
So in the past, we had an application on the website, and that's where I was saying we took it down, but we're going back to and creating a form to get some information from them. But Sarah typically, as of right now, secures the bios, the headshots, all of
Oh,
that kind
okay.
of stuff. So what I would suggest, and Sarah, I think you might already save these out here, but like that we have a Google Drive that just says like bios, headshot, like, and I'll share the podcast file on our Google Drive, Jamie, with you so that you have access to that. And then we're in the process of reworking that process slightly because we do have some people that are requesting, that's what I was talking about earlier, to be on our podcast that we don't know,
Yeah.
and we want to vet them.
That's different. Yeah.
And in the past, they've downloaded that stuff into Satva, but we're trying to like not necessarily have all that stuff in the Satva program. So
Yeah,
So
so I know the next guests that we have coming up are the Gonzaga folks, so LJ and Megan. So I will make sure to get that info while we're figuring out the new process we're going to be creating for bio guests or guest bios and headshots. I will make sure to get that information
in the Google
to
Drive,
Jamie.
in the Google
Yes.
Drive. Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, we're not going to send a bunch of emails. That's where I was going with this. Like we'll go out
Mhm.
into the Google Drive and put that. And what I would suggest is in the file, I'm not big on having a gazillion files, but I think this might be easiest, is to have the file under podcast be like guests, and then put like 3, I don't know, whatever the date is, 3/5 or whatever the date is for that episode. So Jamie can quickly go in and get and it's
Yep.
only once a month. So
Yeah.
Yep. And we already have a file that literally is guest bios. So
Perfect. And headshot stuff. Okay, that's great.
Okay,
Um,
so Sarah's gonna secure all that stuff, then that goes into the graphics, which we already have covered. Then what happens next?
Okay. All right. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take our final episode after we have the show notes and everything. I am going to put it in a running Google Doc because all of the ones that I've done, I like how it's laid out. I'm also going to create a spreadsheet where you can easily go in and see what episodes are coming up, what's done, and it'll have like links to different. I'm just going to get all that stuff organized for you, and then I'll share it with you when it's.
And Jamie, tell me, like this might be easy to do this too. So we have like all of our 2025, let me get over here, like our marketing calendar. We have this and you can see it's got multiple tabs down here. So if you want, if we could maybe add a tab that says podcasts, and then that's your tab so that everybody has access to the same thing.
Yeah.
And so this, you'll see here, the Lead Your Life podcast, like this is the topic. And so you can see the green ones are ones I've already
Gotcha.
taped or recorded, right? So those are all recorded. But that way you can look at this column F, and then we can have another tab that has all that stuff that you want to save. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can go to
and that way it's just the stuff that I need and not everything too.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create the shorts and the reels. And I wanted to ask you about this because we had originally we said we were going to do one like branded, like more in-depth reel on Canva, but I am thinking like we've kind of shifted from that in all three other businesses that I've done, and we have gone more to the YouTube shorts and reels because they're all SEO optimized. I would rather offer you 7 YouTube shorts that go out every other day between episodes rather than 4 reels total. Like I would just rather do more of those.
Meredith, thoughts?
And if you don't really know what I'm talking, if there's 2 types of reels that I normally create, just to clarify really quick. If you look at Lachelle's shorts, you'll notice there are like fancy ones where there's like a beautiful picture of her on the front, and then it transitions to the podcast, and then it has a fancy ending. We don't find that those do any better than the other ones, and they take a lot more time to create. So we have transitioned to only doing the ones without the fancy beginning and ending.
The less bougie.
Yeah. I mean, they're beautiful. But we can cover more ground and get more out there. If we try this other route, we can always change our mind. If you don't, if we give it a few months and you don't like it, we can always change it. But that's my recommendation. So like I figured it out in 7 every other day starting on the 4th, March 4th. That's the day the episode goes out. It would be March 4th all the way through March 16th. And then your new episode comes out on the 18th. So it like aligns perfectly.
So Meredith, thoughts on the 7? That's okay.
So one of the things that we have been thinking about for this year is really growing the YouTube channel at large, right? Yep. Not just for the podcast, but at large. Like right now, there's not even a tab on the YouTube channel called podcast.
Yep.
Right. So, and we have very few shorts that are from the podcast, but we post shorts on YouTube that are other things. So I guess it's a matter of like, I mean, if we do 7 shorts per episode, which is like basically every other day for the 14 days in between, we can just see how that performs with the other shorts that we have peppered in, that are not podcast related, right? Yeah, so it'll be a little bit different from what Lachelle has, because it looks like all her shorts are related to the podcast versus having shorts that are either. But I also feel like we need to optimize the whole entire YouTube channel. Like the header needs to be changed. I don't think that the YouTube channel should be called Lead Your Life with Debbie Heiser. I think it should be called The Lit Up Life with Debbie Heiser, because that's the
Perfect.
business. Like, it needs just a whole rejuging that kind of brings it, because we really would rather make that the focus.
Mhm.
And
I would also say Lachelle has hired someone like a big expert in YouTube stuff. So if like she's changed her channel name, updated her header and all that. So if you're ever
Mhm.
looking for hints or ideas, I would
Sure.
recommend going and looking at her channel. Like we changed it from the Spiral Up Podcast YouTube channel to just her name and
Yep.
title. That
Yep.
was those are all recommendations based on
Yep.
this
Yeah, I
person.
mean, there's
So,
not even currently a header on the YouTube channel at all, right?
Yeah.
So there's like zero branding. So, yeah, which I think is good, and like making the description appropriate and stuff like that. So when you load the video, if we can back up a second, when you
Yeah,
load
sorry.
the episodes
Mhm.
up, and when you load up the shorts, are you also doing descriptions on those and then with calls to action?
So, okay, so are you talking about the full video upload
Both.
to
Yeah,
YouTube?
both the podcast and the shorts.
Okay, so I think is that Lisbon? What, because I don't have uploading the full episode on my list.
Right. So Lisbon, that's a really good point here. So once we um edit the recording, there is a step here where we insert into Lisbon.
Mhm.
And Lisbon is just the software that we use, and maybe we don't need it anymore. Sarah downloads the show notes that you write, Jamie. And what it does is it posts to everything except YouTube. So it goes out to Google,
Okay,
it goes out to Apple, it goes out to Spotify,
perfect.
and it shoots it out. So Sarah schedules that, but she takes all the graphics, all the show notes, everything else, and copies and pastes it and puts it in. Or in the past, Meredith has just gone into Lisbon and put the show notes into Lisbon. Um, and so we need to figure out, like, are you going to then provide the show notes, and does Sarah just need to copy and paste that and put it into Lisbon?
Yeah, so I'll take care of the YouTube end. So I will upload the full podcast episode, the show notes. Yes, everything has a call to action and special links, which is on my list to talk to you about in just a little bit. So we're getting there. We're getting close. And so then what you can do, Sarah, is that like as soon as I have it all done and the show notes and graphics are all done, like I'll let you know, and then you can get everything scheduled through Lisbon for everywhere else.
Okay.
So when you see the show notes, like you'll see that it has the how I can support you, and it has the links to, your main call to action, your freebie, these things. And you can literally just copy, it has all the optimized hashtags. You can just copy paste it and bold. I'll have some stuff bold. I don't know how Lisbon, if you can bold text or whatever. And then that'll be done. So I'll take care of the YouTube end if you want to do the Lisbon, which goes everywhere else. And then
Okay.
And so where are you going to put the show notes and the graphics? Because the graphics are in Canva,
Yep.
right?
And then the show notes I'm going to do on a running Google Doc. It will be
Okay.
the same doc. And I can show you an example because this is how I do it for everybody else. And on the left-hand side of the doc, you'll see all of the dates. So you just go to whichever episode you need. It'll be the one at the top. You just click that and it'll come up, and then you can just copy paste it.
Perfect. Quick question on since I'll be scheduling, what are you thinking time frame as far as like, so for let's just skip to March. So our
When do
first
you need it?
episode,
When do you need
what's
it, Sarah?
I mean, I love to have it at least by the Friday before the Tuesday of the next week to schedule
Oh
it.
yeah.
When this was all housed and what I was doing, I did it much earlier than that. But
Yeah.
is it possible to have it by the Friday before the Tuesday that it airs?
I would like it even sooner. Like
Okay.
as soon as it's recorded, like I'm gonna put it on my schedule for that week to like get it done. So
Okay.
like this episode that needs to come out March 4th. I'm going to be in Mexico next week, so like that will be done by this weekend. Like
Okay.
I'll need to have that one done by this weekend.
So you need
So
to
then
share.
I like working ahead. I think that's what you're getting at, right? So no, it's not going to be anything last minute with me.
Because we need the whole transcript in order to write the email that drops on the
Yeah.
day that the podcast drops. And I don't want to wait until, if the email is going on Tuesday, like we have been pushing it like right where I'm like writing the episode email literally the day before.
Why don't we just say, if it's possible, now all of this hinges on me getting my ass to like get it recorded. But what if we said a week before?
that'd be great. Yeah, as
Yeah.
long as we have the recording done.
Like, I'll move this to where it's supposed to go, but like try to like the goal is to have all of the graphics, the show notes, all the stuff ready to go the week before it drops. That
Oh,
way
yeah.
everybody else that has stuff to do after the
Mhm.
fact has time to put that together. Is that fair?
Mm-hmm.
That
I
works.
don't think that's going to be a problem because we're not starting until March and we already have the first episode of March done and we'll get all of that to her. She can get working on it, and then as soon as you record the solo for March, so we're gonna have stuff in the pipeline way ahead of. Yeah.
Now that we're changing the sales script and the sales workshop to pay to play,
Mhm.
the only mid
Mid-ad.
ad that we have that
Yeah.
is still any good is the build her mid ad.
So do I need
Oh.
to do a new ad about check out the website for workshops and what, like, do we need to make it more general?
Jamie, how do you feel about mid ads?
None of my clients use mid ads right now, so I don't have a a thought on that right now. Do you feel like people click them, and
I
do you
think
have
they're a pain in the
analytics?
ass, and I think when I listen to podcasts that have it, it drives me freaking crazy.
Yeah.
That's just me, but I never hear from anybody that they appreciated and honestly, what I do when there's a mid ad is I hit the 10-second button until it starts.
What is the ad? I'm sorry, what is the ad advertising?
We cycle
Either,
through.
yeah,
Yeah.
it depends. It's been different things over time. It's either been like join a program, book a call, get
The
our
retreat in
freebie,
October.
get our freebie, like we've had many different versions of it.
Yeah.
Maybe we
So
Maybe
scrap it.
do we need that ad if we're going to have in the show notes, like just for an example, because I didn't see a freebie on your website, but like I just put like how I can support you, book your clarity call,
Why don't we test it?
get
Why
my
don't we
free guide.
Why don't we do the mid ads in March with your SOE optimization and then drop it in April? And let's take a look and decide if there's changes.
yeah, and I would make it for the free community, build her, more than anything else. Because Jamie, we haven't really promoted the freebies that we've created. So we have, and now we're changing the strategy around those.
Okay.
So you'll notice that like in the show notes right now, those are the things that are available, right? Where it says join our community, grab our
Okay.
ebook, those are the things that are out there, book a call. But the ebook will be going away, but not until the like April 1st is probably the date that we'll have the new offer ready. That's going to be a paid offer.
Okay, so you would like book your clarity call, right?
I think it's join the community, build her.
Well, that's so okay. So typically your main call to action for everything should be listed first. So like what is the
Yeah, just swap over here.
I don't think that unless we get the listenership, like people are serially listening, I think that
Oh, thank you.
going from listening to a podcast episode to jumping into a clarity call is a big leap personally, without some
Mhm.
other kind of freebie in there. And the freebie that we have right now is to join the online community, Build Her.
Okay, so that's that's considered the
Yeah.
freebie. Okay.
Yes, and I would agree with that. Everything I'm reading talks about how actually a clarity call is risk. Like
Totally.
people see it as risky.
Hmm.
Which is interesting because, you know, we all think it's free and it's great. Come talk to me, right? But it's risky to them. So,
Well, yeah, if they're not in your warm market, like I don't want to hop on a call with you. That's scary.
right now, and until I get to the point where, because most of my programs are around women, but I work with men also for private clients. The Build Her is just a feminine piece. So a year from now, that might look a little different or maybe not. So, but yes,
Okay.
that would be the main call to action, is join the
Okay.
Build Her group.
So just look at what your show notes are right now and just use those same links. Right?
I don't know, Meredith, Sarah.
Oh, so join the community, or yeah, join the community. I have the links to the podcast. Follow on Instagram.
Let me just pull it up real quick, and because I don't remember what they are off the top of my head.
Does everybody have a few minutes to go past 11?
Yeah, I do.
I do.
Okay.
And I do want to make sure we circle back to the deliverables that I need to get to you, Jamie, just to review that.
Yeah, sure. And then, and the other thing is like these shorts and reels that I'm going to post to YouTube. Where do you want me to put them so that you can access them to put them in other places of your choice?
Meredith and Sarah, Google Drive okay there?
Yep.
Meredith?
Well, and I
I was
think we need to coordinate the posting of those because we post other things there too with the shorts.
Well, if they're all in the drive, then you can just go snag them though. Isn't that what we're talking
but-
about?
But I think Jamie's saying
Jamie's
she's
gonna publish.
post them.
I'm
And that's
only,
what,
I'm only posting YouTube shorts.
right.
But
They
they
also do
also
other
post
shorts.
YouTube shorts, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
So
so-
there's a little bit of action here that needs to take place.
Yeah, so just to wrap up, the calls to action right now are watch more episodes, follow Debbie on Instagram,
Mhm.
learn more about programs, which goes to the website, or join our free community.
Okay.
But the most important of all of those is to join the community. Like that's the top of mind call to action that we have right now, because we're making an effort to grow that community in the next 6 months.
Do you have like bit.lys for your podcast streaming links, like your Spotify, Apple, and then we need a podcast
I don't even know what that is.
on YouTube? It's just a
Yeah.
shortened URL, because right now, like I'd put like links to listen to the podcast and then put Spotify, and then it's like https open.spotify.com/shows/70 UK FO blah 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 blah, where it could just say
Yeah.
bit.ly lit up life Spotify, or like
Yeah,
something.
we've never done anything like that.
It's just it's less
Yeah.
wordy.
So how do we do that, Jamie? Ouch.
If you go to bit.ly there, and then what you'll do is you'll enter your streaming link from Spot. Have you guys, I don't know whose job is this?
Nobody, we haven't done it.
Oh,
So
you've never, have any of you ever done one of these before, or no?
I've made those links before, but specifically where are you talking about using them? I'm not sure I'm following.
Oh, like if somebody wants to go to Apple and go directly to Debbie's podcast, take that URL and create a bit.ly.
so instead of it being 20 lines, it would
Yeah,
be
yeah.
Where are you using the bit.ly?
Then it goes in the show notes. And the social, like
right
social
now
media
they're
posts.
all hyperlinks.
Yes. So the issue with that is that hyperlinks don't work on all podcast platforms. So if you go to like your Apple streaming page, you'll see there are no links to click in the show notes. So nobody can get to the community. So what I've learned is that you just list the actual links so that people can click.
Great.
It's unfortunate. I wish more people kind of knew that, but I figured that out. Like when I was just kind of investigating, I was like, oh my God, none of these links work.
So would you be willing to work with me on that, Jamie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or I can just create them. Do you want me to just create them for you?
Yes.
Okay. Fine. And the podcast title is Lead Your Life.
As of now.
It's Lead
As
Your
of
Life.
now.
Well, and let me ask a question, because it's been Lead Your Life with Debbie Heiser. It's had my name in it in the past. So did we drop that somewhere? And I just didn't notice.
It's still there.
I was just thinking the whole purpose is to shorten it. So like,
And that's because there's multiple podcasts called Lead Your Life.
oh,
Correct.
right. But if we're giving them the link called bit.ly/lead your, okay, well, we could do Lead Your Life with Debbie Apple, Lead Your Life with Debbie Spotify, Lead Your Life with Debbie YouTube. Like it's getting kind of long, right? So I was just trying to come up with a short.
Well, is there a way we could just put LYL with Debbie?
Yeah.
So
I mean, I don't know
let's
right
keep an
there
eye-
if
Let me,
you're
you
the
know what, can
bit.ly,
you
I don't think
just-
it matters if it's, I think it's fine to just make it Lead Your Life. I don't think in the bit.ly link it needs to say with Debbie. I'm just
Yeah,
think
for
that
the Bitly
you-
link, I agree. Sorry, I thought we were talking about the title of the podcast. So that's,
No.
I just so that I could create a bit.ly that was
yeah, just do
matched.
Lead Your
That's
Life.
all.
Yeah.
Lead Your
Yeah,
Life.
I think
and
I
we-
would, for the bit.ly, I would just call it Lead Your Life.
And
But
then we have,
broader than that, there's like some guy named Vikram something or other, who has a podcast called Lead Your Life. Like there's multiple podcasts called Lead Your Life.
this is here. I'll put
Because
it
it's
in
a
the
good
chat.
title.
This is what I'm thinking in the chat there.
Cool. I'm gonna go snag that.
Sure.
Well, don't do it just yet because I have to make sure those are available. Like we might
Oh,
have
okay.
to.
Yeah, she's just saying that's what
Right.
she.
Just let me know. Okay.
That's just what I was. Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Yeah, I
so-
anticipate there's probably going to be some conversations between Jamie and Sarah as we
sure.
go
I
forward.
have notes. I have notes. I have follow-up questions.
Okay, so then, all right, so after I have uploaded the full episode to YouTube and I have uploaded the reels and shorts to YouTube, you can just let me know what time of day you want those to go out. If you're concerned about overlapping, I don't think it really matters because when people are watching reels, it's not like if you put out 2 reels at one time that like, so what time, Meredith, would you like me to schedule reels
I think
for?
it's more just the day. So,
Oh, okay.
but I just asked the person that I work with that does all the posting. So we'll see what she says about that.
Okay. I was
Um,
just trying to keep it simple by doing every other day.
Yeah, so I think we'll just say that any that we post, we would just not do on the same days.
Okay.
So if we
Because
drop the
typically if
episode
you
on
post something, it kills the thing that you posted before it. Right? So like if you post a reel on Instagram and then you posted another one straight away on Instagram within a certain amount of time, it could kill the one that you originally posted.
Okay.
So I just
So-
want to make sure that we
Well,
give
hold
it
on. Let me back up because I think we're talking about shorts. And then are you, Jamie? I didn't think you were posting the reels though. I thought you were providing those. So Meredith, she's providing the reels to you, and you use them whenever you want to in the 14 days.
But she's posting the YouTube shorts.
Just the YouTube. I'm only doing the YouTube ones. Yes.
Right.
So if you need me to do those at a certain time, I just don't want every week it to be different days, or I have to ask you, okay, when am I posting them this week?
Yeah.
Like it
So
should just be the same.
Yeah,
right?
it should just be every other day.
So if the episode drops on Tuesday, that means Thursday, Saturday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday is when that's posted, right?
Is that 7?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Mm-hmm.
Because you also post a short on the day you post the episode.
I was going to, but if you don't, if you
Oh,
prefer,
nope,
that's great.
fine.
Oh, okay.
So then we just take out Sunday.
Yeah.
No,
Well, no, because if she's creating 7.
there's 7 of them.
Oh, yeah, there's 7 there.
Oh, yeah,
no,
sorry.
no, that's
Sorry,
perfect.
sorry,
Okay.
sorry. Yep.
Okay. And so then after I post them to YouTube, I want them available to you so that if you would like to post them elsewhere, then you can do that. So I'll upload those to Google Drive. And we can just do like within the podcast folder, I'll create another folder for shorts, reels, and then you can pull them from there. Does
Yeah, I'm
that
trying
sound
to
good?
think if that's the easiest way. Because that'll be a lot of shorts. That'll be
Yeah.
Um,
And captions, the SEO
and you're
captions
making how are you making the shorts
in Opus Pro.
in Opus Pro?
And I don't like using Opus Pro to post to like Instagram because you can't choose if you want it on your main grid or your Reels grid. It always goes to your main grid. So I don't typically do that one.
Yeah, you just post directly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's try in the Google Drive and just see how.
And I would
Yeah.
I
organize
guess
them.
the reality is we could always we could always just delete them. We don't have to keep them forever because they're going to be on YouTube anyway, right?
Yeah.
So if we
Yeah.
ever needed to get them again,
Yeah.
you'd still have them in Opus Pro if we wanted them back. It's just a
And
Yeah,
I
unless I run out of space.
here's my suggestion, right? Like, let's put the folders by the date. So March, we'll have 2 folders with all the reels and the shorts in them. At the first part of April, we'll have Sarah go in and delete those folders or change the folder, like we'll just delete them. And that way we don't take up a bunch of space in the Google Drive, but that way they're out there for everybody.
Okay.
So Sarah, at like the 5th of the month, go out and you'll delete the previous months.
Do I need to double check with anyone that everything's good to go on that, do you think? Will there be any reason for that?
Nope, because they would have already gone out, right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Meredith? Well, let's say
Theoretically.
I would be deleting it. I would give them a whole nother month to live there just in case. Because if any of those reels happen to like gain some kind of traction, then we could potentially be reposting, and I don't know
Repurpose,
that.
yeah.
So I would let them live in there for what would end up becoming more like a 45 to 60-day time frame rather than a 15-day time frame.
Okay, so for instance, for March, she'll go out and delete that in May.
Correct.
That long
Okay.
enough, even though the middle section of May, or do you want me to change it to June?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
You had mentioned transcripts before. Do you want me putting those also someplace or?
Yeah, I need the transcript in order to be able to write the email
Yeah.
that goes
Where
out.
would you like it? Do you want it saved in Google Drive or?
Probably,
Okay.
because there's no reason to put it in Canva. I mean, like the places we're keeping stuff are either Canva or Google Drive. So,
Okay. So maybe just a folder, and then I'll just name each Google Doc with the episode title, and then you can just copy paste it where you need it.
yeah, are we going to organize it where it's like, here's the episode and here's the notes and here's just like where one episode folder has everything in it?
I would say under the podcast, like what I have down is to go out and organize that podcast folder. So what I would do is for what season are we on? 7, 8?
7.
7. We'll have a file folder that says March 5th. I don't know if the date's right. March 5th.
11th. Yeah.
And all of the stuff will be in that file folder, like the graphics, the shorts, the show notes, like everything for that episode, but you guys tell me you're doing the work. Everything will be in that. And then 2 months later, that file folder is going to be deleted. Because all the video is already downloaded, all the graphics are already downloaded, all the transcripts are downloaded, all of that stuff, right?
Yep.
This is just a side note. You do not have to do this whatsoever. I think having copies of transcripts saved for future use without deleting them is a good idea because, for example, like for other clients, I use those transcripts to also create blog posts. And if that's something you want to do down the line, you don't want to have to export or take every video into Descript again just to get the transcript.
So here's what I would say. Don't worry about that because I have my own file folder of when I go out to ChatGPT and say, create a 20-minute or 15, 17-minute podcast.
Oh, true. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay.
I've got that. And when I get to the point where I'll write blogs, I'll use those.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Just a thought. Okay.
No, that's perfect. Okay.
I think that's the end of my the end of the list. It's not supposed to be super complicated, but
No, I don't think it is, but we just needed to walk through this. So tracking
Yeah.
listenership on each platform, who does that now, Meredith and Sarah? Like who goes out and checks? Because I know in our marketing meetings, we haven't done as much lately because we've had so much going on saying, here's what listenership is up or it's down or whatever. Who's tracking Apple Podcast or Spotify, Google, and YouTube?
I still do monthly KPIs. We just haven't gone over them in several months now, but I still have that data. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, I'd like that be just a standing agenda item for our marketing meetings.
I'm down with that. It just doesn't ever seem to.
Well,
I'll just insert myself.
Perfect. That's perfect. Or in a team meeting, right? Like it doesn't have to be the marketing meeting. It could be a team meeting, which I still need to go back out and reschedule.
Is there a way that we can like send that stuff out and then have like discussion around it rather than use time in the meeting to look at it? Where it like gets sent out the day before or whatever.
2 days before the meeting. Yeah, so maybe Sarah, by like when can you pull that info? Like if we're looking at last month's info, when could we have gotten that? Like by February 1st?
So with the way that the podcast, we've changed it, I could do it differently now. I used to do it to where I would let the whole month play out and then I would do it the beginning of the next month. But now that we are typically going to have a podcast dropping maybe even a week, 10 days before the end of the month, it just depends on where the Tuesdays fall.
Exactly.
So yeah. But how about, should we just talk about that once we get our team meetings better established since we're needing to change that?
No. Because I want the information sent to us via email. So what I'm trying to figure out is if you were to create an email and say, Apple listenership last month was this much, here's how much it is this month, podcast, like sending just the data.
It
No,
would
I
all
meant-
work to do it the day before, 24 hours in advance.
But well, yeah, exactly. So what I'm saying is I can't know that though yet until we figure out our team meetings.
So my point is though, is I need it before 20. I can't get the email and digest it in 24 hours because I may not have the time to do that. So I was going to pick a date within the month, whether it be the 5th of the month, she sends out an email for the month prior, or the 10th. I just like to get into something where it's not 24 hours before the meeting.
Yeah, you just pick the date once we know when our team meetings are going to be, because isn't that in flux right now?
What I'm saying is I don't want the data to be dependent on the team meeting. But if it changes the data, then I don't know enough about this. So what I'm suggesting is it's not tied to whether or not we have a team meeting set up, but that we're consistently every month getting this data.
So Sarah, why don't you just do it on the 1st of the month? Because then it's always
That's what I was
the data
asking.
is always complete, right?
Here's what I'll do. I will do it. I'm not going to do it on a Saturday if Saturday is the first. But
Right.
yes, I will
Cool.
work that out to where you get it beginning of the month. Sounds good.
It's like a paycheck. You're not going to get paid on Sunday, right?
Great.
It rolls to
Or on a
Monday.
Monday if it's a holiday.
So
Right.
like for February, the first falls on a Saturday. So by the third,
Correct. Yep.
by the end of the day on the third, right? Because you'll have to spend some time putting it together. That's what I was asking.
It's
Like
the
not
first
the,
business day of the month.
yeah.
Perfect. Yep. You get to see the team figuring stuff out, Jamie.
Okay,
You do
I'm
it in real
figuring
time.
stuff out here at the same time.
Okay, so you're gonna send that via email
Correct.
to us. And then what I would say is if we have anything we want to talk about, then we bring it up in whatever meeting, whether it's a marketing meeting or just the regular team meeting.
Yep.
Okay,
Sounds
cool.
good.
Thank you. Okay, anything else with the podcast? Because I want to make sure the three of you feel really smooth. And I will tell you, Jamie, if you haven't figured that out in this call, if you have detailed questions about this, I am not your gal. Because these two ladies have been handling this like a pro. All I do is go out and videotape it, right? So and let them know that it's been recorded or who's the guest coming up. Otherwise, they've handled it all. So
I was just gonna ask how communication. Do you guys use Boxer? Like Sarah and Meredith, how should I communicate with you if I have questions?
I think we should create a WhatsApp group that's specifically for the podcast.
Okay,
I'll do that right now.
That's good.
okay.
While Debbie's setting that
Um,
up, I did want to ask you, Jamie, unless you have more questions.
The only other thing was I just wanted to verify. So then, Sarah, you're gonna share the folder of the assets with me, right?
Mhm.
And then
Well,
Debbie,
I'm gonna go out and share the whole podcast file with you that will have all of the folders in there. And then she'll download the assets to the folder. Is that correct?
Oh, that's not what we discussed, but I was gonna send the assets separately because it's actually from Callie.
Oh, yeah, sorry, wrong thing. I'll show
Yeah.
that.
okay, so someone just make sure I have those.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're on it.
And
And
then,
then-
Jamie, I have a question. How are you handling for your other clients getting assets to guests for guests' use?
I send an email to them and say, hey, your episode is going live on this date. Here's the link to YouTube. I've attached some graphics. We'd love for you to post on social, this and that. That's what I do.
Okay, and you're doing that for Debbie.
No, we did not talk about that.
Okay.
Say that again. I'm so sorry.
Sarah, you're doing that.
Communicating with guests as to like giving them graphics to share, letting them know when their episode is going out.
Yeah, no, that would still be Sarah.
Yep. Which Meredith, I want to talk to you about how we can do that better because I still feel like people aren't getting it on that. But Jamie, I just want to confirm, yes, I'm sending you the assets. The other deliverables is the intro, the outro. And then did we decide which we are going to still do the mid ad for March, but did we decide which one? It seemed like we never settled on if we're doing ebook or build her.
Build her.
Build her.
Build her for sure.
Ebook
Okay.
is gone, Sarah. Ebook is gone. It's going to be.
Well, Meredith said it wasn't changing until April though, so that's why I thought.
But I don't want to push it if we're going to
Okay.
ask in April for them to pay for it.
Okay, sounds good.
Sarah, would it be possible in the podcast folder? Can we just create like a subfolder called Jamie, and would you just put that intro, outro, and ads there? Or so, unless it's already in Google Drive, your intro, outro, and the different ad videos.
It is out there, but I can switch it to your folder.
If you just put it someplace so that I can just download them and have them here on my computer.
Yeah.
And what I was
Yeah.
thinking was I'm going to create this like spreadsheet for myself to keep track of things, and I'll have a spot for ad, like which ad needs to go out. And if you just want to put the title of which ad, then I'll know which one to put in that episode.
Sounds good.
And then Debbie, I need to be able to log into your Zoom.
Yeah, I've got all these action items to.
Okay. And then YouTube is, yeah, I need to be able to log into your YouTube. It would be nice if the program I use let you be a manager of a YouTube channel, but it will not post unless I'm logged in as you.
Can you give me your phone number too? Because for some reason I don't have it.
Yeah, it's 507-358-8589.
Thank you. Yep, I have that you need access to Canva, you need access to Zoom, you need access to my YouTube.
Yep.
Access to her bank account. I was kidding.
Not quite. You know what I was just thinking was, if you use Descript, would you rather me use your Descript account
It's
to,
not her
so that
account,
way?
it's mine.
Oh,
So-
okay. Okay. I think that's everything.
So I'm gonna save this spreadsheet in the podcast folder. So that we have it to refer back to. And I'm gonna go out here in just a minute and kind of do a little bit of organization of that podcast folder. And add a couple of these that we just talked about.
Okay, so for the podcast folder, just do my Jaime at jamiesmoody.com.
Okay.
But then, like, if you need my Canva, I don't know if you need my Canva email to share something with me for Canva.
Oh, I thought that's what
Yeah.
you said was the,
That one is just jamiesmoody at gmail.com, because I have my old teacher account. So it's free. So I'm
Okay.
sticking with that one.
so hold on a second. So the jamiesmoody at gmail.com is for Canva.
Yes.
And then what is for Google?
For Google, the Jaime at jamiesmoody.com.
Is for Google,
Okay.
not your Gmail.
Well, yeah, Gmail and Google are the same. The
No,
only
on
thing that's
Google.
different is Canva. Everything
Okay,
else.
hold on, I'm confused. So you had put on here jamiesmoody at gmail.com was for your Canva login.
jamiesmoody at gmail.com. Yes.
Yes. Then for Google, it's Jaime at jamiesmoody.com.
Yes.
Okay,
Like,
thank you.
if
That's
you
all I
need to email me or share things. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Okay, so just so that I can start working on this within the next few days. I know today's Tuesday, right?
Tuesday that feels like a Monday.
Is there any way by maybe like Thursday I could have an overlay and just access to those intro out? Like, is that too soon? Do you think Thursday is doable?
I'll have the file folders done in the next 15 minutes if we get off the phone. So
I will
I
work
don't
on
know that
getting
I
the
can have
assets.
overlay by Thursday.
hold on. Two of you are talking at the same time. Meredith, go, and then we'll do Sarah.
I don't know that we would have the overlay done by Thursday.
And if we have to do one without it, like, that's fine too. It's just because I need to make sure that I have this all done by Sunday, because I leave on Monday and I'll be
Sure.
gone for a week. Sorry.
And we're talking about the 11th of March episode, right?
I thought
Just-
it was the 4th. It doesn't go out the 4th?
Yeah, no, this is a recent change we've made. So it actually goes out the 11th.
Oh, then I can do it the week I get back.
We
Was
just
that
bought
better?
time.
You just bought a whole nother, yeah,
Just bought
week. I'm
time.
sorry. Okay. So the 11th and the 25th. And is the 11th a solo or guest episode?
It's guests.
Okay. So you'll get me or you're going to upload to the Google Drive folder, the bio, headshot, everything.
I have
Okay.
a lot of presents for you, Jaime.
Okay. Yay. I love, my love language is gifts and words of affirmation. So
Yay, mine too.
okay, then that means we don't have to crunch within the next few days. But
I will still be sending you a lot of deliverables this week, though.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I kind of want to get a little organized. I don't want to wait till I get back and then be like, oh.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Okay, and then we started a WhatsApp. Okay.
So,
And yeah, when Debbie shares on the marketing calendar, it will show when it'll show you the air dates so
And
that
I
you'll be able
shared
to know
that
going forward.
already.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
so Jaime,
Okay.
I'm having a hard time finding you in WhatsApp. There it is. Okay. Okay, I'll create this group and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Awesome. And part of why we like to use WhatsApp is if we're traveling out of the country, you can still access.
Yeah.
Which it sounds like you will be. You said you're going to Mexico?
We
Yeah,
will.
but she's
Yes.
not working.
Well, no,
No.
we're not going to contact you, but you get to take an
No,
international
I mean,
trip.
I mean, technically I am working for Lachelle. It's her business retreat.
Oh,
So
that's right. That's right.
yeah. It's just hard to work for other clients when if as the client experience director and we have clients there, like I need to make sure everything is
Yes.
going as it should be. So I'm pretty busy.
Where are you going to Mexico?
We're going just north of Tulum
Ooh, nice.
area. Yeah, I've never been there before, so.
Okay, ladies, I gotta go. I'm so sorry, but
Okay.
you all now hopefully wrote down her phone number, and if not, it's in WhatsApp. But feel free to reach out to Jamie as you need something, and then we'll go from there. And Meredith, I don't know if you saw, I haven't gotten an email yet from that group.
Yeah, I got a message from them today. It's fine. It's taken care of.
Awesome. Ladies, thank you so much. I so appreciate it. So appreciate you like letting me kind of walk through it and understand it more and clunk away at it. So, and then honestly, Meredith and Sarah and Jamie, the three of you just chat. And if something changes from our process spreadsheet, please go in and make the changes to it just so that I'm kind of aware too of what happens.
Sure.
Perfect.
Okay.
Nice to meet you,
Guys,
Jamie.
I'm excited.
Yeah, you
Yay.
too.
Travel
And-
safe.
Have a great
Thanks.
trip.
Yes,
Yeah,
have fun.
have a great day, you guys. Thank you.
Bye. You
All
too.
right,
Bye.
bye.
Bye.